Hey folks, Eric here. I just finished 2 weeks of shamanic healing in the heart of the Peruvian Amazon at a place called Mayantuyacu, which is a center outside of Pucallpa that is right on the boiling river, which is a very sacred and mysterious river that's actually boiling. And geologists can't really explain why it's boiling, but it's so hot that in fact if I fall in the river, I will almost certainly die, and I can't even touch the water because it's going to burn my hand very badly, and I'm going to be very badly injured. So I came here to Mayantuyacu to deal with some chronic fatigue issues, to learn more about plant medicines and really deepen my practice, and to prepare myself and set myself up for a very successful year in 2020, where I'm going to work hard and really go for my dreams. The center here is headed by an indigenous maestro called Maestro Juan Flores, who's very experienced, and his team, and they've been phenomenal. They've taken really great care of me and the other guests here. My 2 weeks here started with a very powerful purge using a plant called Mayantuyacu, which is a leaf shaped like a heart that is ground into a juice that then you drink. It's about the size of a shot glass. And then over the period of 2 to 6 hours, people who drink Mayantuyacu will experience tremendous nausea and really powerful body sensations. And you have to drink water, up to about 15 liters of water, and constantly be purging. Over the course of this process, the body gets purified on a really deep level. I could feel the plant working down my stomach, down my legs, in my joints, in my brain, really strongly in my brain. I could feel it pulling out toxins, pulling out things that have been dragging me down. And then the purging was really cathartic and really powerful. And at the end, I even had some purges with some red stuff coming out, which I'm not too sure what it was, but it certainly felt like something bad was coming out from my body. So I did this at the very beginning of the 2 weeks, and I also did it just today, which is my last day before I leave tomorrow. So after the purge, I received a prescription of sorts from Maestro Juan Flores for a master plant dieta. And the dieta that I took was a plant called Tahuari, Tahuari. And Tahuari is actually a tree. It's a large tree. And the benefit of drinking Tahuari is that it increases your strength. So physical strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength. And it was a very powerful process indeed. So I started taking the Tahuari, and then I moved to my tambo. For most of the time that I was here, I stayed in a tambo, which is a rustic shack deep in the jungle. So we had to walk about 20 minutes along the river. And I was in the furthest tambo out, tambo number 7. So I had to go all the way and then climb up a hill, and then I found my tambo, which was very lovely, very nice, overlooking the valley down to the river essentially. And it wasn't too bad for mosquitoes, so that was pretty great. Anyway, so for in total 8 or 9 days, I was alone in the tambo, and it was very scary at times. There were tarantulas and all sorts of different bugs, and at night I had to tuck in my mosquito net, and I couldn't actually step out from the bed at night. You kind of have to stay in the bed because there's all sorts of things crawling and flying about during the night. And the process of being in the tambo with the dieta, with the Tahuari, was incredibly powerful. My diet was very simple and minimal. Some oatmeal in the morning and some rice and lentils for lunch and no dinner. And it got to the point where actually I wasn't eating very much at all, just because I wasn't hungry. I wanted to go deeper and deeper and deeper into my meditation practice, and that required for me to focus, and I just didn't have the urge to eat. And the way that I felt became very intense at one point. All the sensations in my body that are usually triggered when I'm faced with anxieties and traumas and things like that were coming up and presenting themselves to me as an opportunity to really go into them and really deal with them and really face my inner shadow. So I had very low lows and I had very high highs. Every third day we also had an ayahuasca ceremony. Ayahuasca is an entheogenic brew that is used for shamanic healing here in the Amazon. And Unlike previous experiences I'd had with ayahuasca, the ayahuasca here was very much focused on healing itself. It wasn't very visionary. I wasn't being sent to some other universe. I was very much in my body and very much having to deal with my emotions and my issues and so on. And it was very powerful that way. It was actually really strong, to where actually one night I had to muster up all of my courage to go and drink a second cup. Typically people will drink a second cup, but there was one night in particular where I knew that I wanted to go deeper in my healing, and it was very difficult to actually do that. I was very fortunate to be, for my bed, to be across from a Shipibo indigenous elder who was singing Icaros the whole time, whose name is Saiko Tsilte Barbara. And I'll be posting some recordings from his Icaros, and I'll put the link at the bottom of this video so that you can hear it and enjoy it. During my Dieta, I read several books that really made my time here powerful and constructive. First, I read Essentialism, which is a book about how we, in order to be really successful and to truly meet our greatest, highest purpose in life, we want to focus on the few things that really matter the most, to do less but better. And in order to do less but better, we need to make trade-offs and say no to things and set boundaries and focus. And the book provided a lot of insight as to why I should do that and some tools to do that. Then I read The Power of a Positive No, which was an incredible compliment for essentialism. Actually, a lot of the examples and stories were the same, and it was like an expansion of the part of the process of essentialism where you set boundaries and basically say no and make trade-offs. And a positive no is a way of saying no while honoring oneself, honoring the other person, honoring the relationship, and staying firm. So it goes like this. It's yes, no, yes. So yes to my needs, yes to my integrity, yes to you as a person, then no to your request, then yes to our relationship and to value sharing and to collaborating in the future on some basis that I'm proposing, a proposal that I'm making. So it's basically a negotiation technique. Then I read a book called Braving the Wilderness by Brené Brown. And that was a very powerful one, especially since I was actually in the wilderness. But it helped me deal with the fact that I haven't felt really like I've belonged anywhere my whole life. And the premise of the book is that we ought to belong to ourselves first and foremost. And that takes a lot of courage. And it's a process. And it's a costly one that can also yield great results. So I thought that book was really incredibly powerful for me. That's the one that really reached me deep down and allowed me to have some very cathartic releases and to start to really feel much more love and compassion and appreciation for myself. And then I've been reading some other books like Contagious, a marketing book about spreading ideas powerfully. Then Tao Te Ching, which is a spiritual book of wisdom. Think and Grow Rich, which is actually really helping me. I've read that one before, but reading it again is really helping me to cement the growth and learning that I've had while I was here and to take it forward into my life. Now that I'm ready to go back home, I'm feeling very powerful and joyful and ready to take charge of my life, no matter what challenges lie ahead, and it's incredibly refreshing. I really recommend this type of experience for anyone who's looking for a way to heal physical ailments while growing spiritually and having just an experience that's unlike anything really out there. And for those who are interested in ayahuasca and plant medicines, a dieta is a very good way to level up plant medicine practices because there's a lot of subtlety and nuance in the way that we work with ourselves, especially in an isolation setting like being in a tambo in the jungle. And I really enjoyed Mayantuyacu, and I would recommend it to people. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to continuing to share this journey.